stop buying slug bait. Put down those pellets. Don't spread another handful of poison in your garden until you hear what I'm about to tell you, because those slug pellets are killing more than slugs. Most people see slugs eating their tomato seedlings, and they reach for pellets. $20 to $30 per container. They spread them around their plants, feel good about protecting their garden, and then find their dog vomiting the next day because those pellets taste sweet to animals. Or they find dead birds in the yard because the birds ate poisoned slugs. Those pellets kill pets, kill wildlife, and worst of all, they don't even work that well. You spread them after every rain. You buy more every month. The slugs keep coming back. It's a cycle that costs you hundreds of dollars over the years. Last June, I went outside one morning to check my tomato seedlings. 12 plants I'd started from seed, babied for 6 weeks. Slugs had eaten every single one during the night. Just stems left. I was furious. I could have driven to the store and bought expensive poison pellets like I used to. Instead, I grabbed $2 worth of copper wire from my garage, wrapped it around my containers, and waited. That evening, I checked with a flashlight. Slugs were crawling up the containers, hitting that copper barrier, and turning around like they'd hit an invisible wall. They wouldn't cross it. Haven't lost a single plant to slugs since. 3 years, same copper wire. Here's the science that makes this work. Copper metal reacts with slug slime to create a tiny electrical current. The slug feels it as an unpleasant shock, like when you touch a doorknob after walking on carpet in winter. Static shock. Not harmful, just uncomfortable enough that they avoid it completely. European organic farmers have used copper barriers for over 100 years. UK studies show 85 to 95% effectiveness when installed correctly. Today, I'm sharing 3 secrets to making copper barriers work perfectly. And I'm showing you the elevated container method that's 100% foolproof. This is the exact setup my 68-year-old neighbor uses. If you want permanent solutions that don't poison your pets or your yard, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what the slug bait industry doesn't want you to know is that a $2 piece of wire works better than their $20 boxes of poison, and it lasts forever. Secret number 1, on choosing the right copper and why it works. Copper comes in 3 forms for garden use. Copper wire is the cheapest option. Go to any hardware store electrical section and ask for solid copper ground wire in 14 gauge. 50-foot rolls cost $3 to $5. That's enough wire to protect 10 to 15 containers. Per container cost is about 25 cents. This is what I use most often. Copper tape is self-adhesive copper strips sold as slug tape at garden centers. A 30-foot roll costs $10 to $15. It sticks directly to pots or raised bedsides. Easy to apply and looks neat. Copper mesh creates a wider barrier. You can find it at hardware stores in the screen repair section. A 10-foot roll costs $20 to $30. Most effective but most expensive. What not to buy? Avoid copper-plated wire where copper is just a thin coating. The coating wears off within a year. Avoid aluminum and steel because they don't create the galvanic reaction. Avoid painted or lacquer-coated copper because the coating blocks the electrical contact you need. The mistake I see is people buying decorative copper items that are coated with tarnish-resistant finishes. My friend bought beautiful copper plant tags for her garden. She wondered why they didn't deter slugs. They were lacquer-coated to stay shiny. The coating blocked everything. Cost breakdown for protecting 5 tomato containers. 15 feet of copper wire costs about $2. You use 3 feet per container. Installation takes 20 minutes total. Compare that to $20 per month on slug pellets, times 6 months equals $120 per year, times 10 years equals $1,200. You're saving almost $1,200 with one afternoon of work. Secret number 2, installation technique that actually works. No gaps means no slugs. Slugs are persistent and surprisingly clever at finding weaknesses. If there's a gap even 1/8 of an inch wide, they'll find it eventually. Your installation must be continuous and complete. One tiny gap equals total failure. For containers, take your copper wire and wrap it around the pot at soil level or slightly above. Create a complete circle with no breaks. Where the two ends of the wire meet, overlap them by at least 2 inches. Secure this overlap with a twist or piece of tape. The barrier height should be 1 to 2 inches above the soil surface. If you're using copper tape on containers, wipe the pot surface clean first. Apply the tape around the pot perimeter about 1 to 2 inches below the rim. Press it firmly as you go. Overlap the ends by 1 inch where they meet. Done. Critical installation rules you cannot skip. No gaps larger than 1/8 of an inch anywhere in the barrier. Height must be minimum 1 inch because slugs can climb. The barrier must be continuous, forming a complete circle. Overlap at connection points must be at least 2 inches. The mistake that ruins everything is leaving a gap where the wire ends meet. I did this on my very first container. I wrapped the wire around, brought the ends together, but left about a 1/4 inch gap. That night, slugs found that exact gap. They squeezed through. My plants still got eaten. I redid the installation the next day with a proper 2-inch overlap. Haven't had a slug breach since. Check your work by running your finger along the entire barrier. Feel for gaps. Look closely at corners and overlaps. One gap ruins the entire system. Spend 5 minutes verifying perfection. Once per year in early spring, clean your copper barriers. This takes about 5 minutes per barrier. Spray regular kitchen vinegar directly onto the copper. Let it sit for 5 minutes. Scrub with an old toothbrush to remove dirt. Rinse with water. Dry with a rag. The copper is now exposed and conductive again. My neighbor installed copper barriers year 1. They worked great the first season. Year 2, she noticed slugs starting to cross them. I came over and looked. Her copper wire was coated in dried mud. We cleaned it with vinegar and an old toothbrush. 5 minutes of work. Immediately, the slugs stopped crossing. The dirt had insulated the wire. Secret number 3, the elevated container method. This is absolutely foolproof. Slugs cannot fly or jump. They must crawl from the ground upward. When you elevate a container, you create a single access point to defend. Control that access point, and you have total protection. Plus, waist-high containers save your back. For elevation, use cinder blocks. $2 each. Use 4 blocks to create a stable platform. Total cost $8. Old milk crates work great and are frequently free. Upside-down 5-gallon buckets work. The ideal height is waist level, about 30 to 36 inches off the ground. Now apply your copper. Wrap wire twice around the pot rim, creating 2 complete circles. Or apply copper tape around the pot about 1 inch below the rim. This becomes the only barrier the slug encounters. When it climbs up your cinder blocks and reaches the pot, it hits copper and retreats. The mistake people make is elevating the pot, but forgetting that slugs can climb the support structure. My neighbor elevated her pots on blocks, put copper on the pot rim, and felt secure. Next morning, slugs had eaten her plants. The slugs had climbed up the cinder blocks and accessed the pot from underneath where it sat on the blocks. They went around the copper barrier. We added a copper ring around the block base. Problem solved. No slug damage since. Cost breakdown for complete setup. One 15-gallon container costs $12. 4 cinder blocks cost $8. 10 feet of copper wire costs $1. Total investment is $21. This protects 1 tomato plant permanently. Compare that to slug pellets at $20 per year, times 10 years equals $200. You're saving almost $200 over a decade per plant. My complete setup is 5 elevated containers with copper barriers installed 3 years ago. 0 slug damage in 3 years. 0 reapplication of anything. 0 ongoing cost. 0 pet poisoning risk. My 68-year-old neighbor with arthritis copied this system. She can't bend or kneel anymore. Waist-high containers changed her gardening life. The copper protection meant she didn't lose plants. She tells everyone who visits about it. Says it's the best $15 she's ever spent. 5 years later, same copper, same protection, same containers. Let me recap this entire system. Secret number 1. Copper wire costs $2 to $5 for 50 feet at hardware stores. Copper tape costs $10 to $15. Must be pure copper, not coated. One-time installation, permanent protection. Secret number 2. Installation must be perfect. No gaps over 1/8 inch. Complete, continuous barrier. Height 1 to 2 inches minimum. Overlap connections by 2 inches. Clean once per year with vinegar. Takes 5 minutes. Secret number 3. Elevated container method is foolproof. Pot on blocks at waist height. Copper at pot rim. Single access point. 100% protection rate. Initial cost $21 per container. Lasts forever. Total cost for 5 container setup. $105 one time. In slug pellet cost over 10 years. $2,000. Your savings? $1,895. Pet poisoning risk? 0. Effectiveness? 90 to 100%. Maintenance? 5 minutes per year. Picture this. It's a June evening. You're watering your 5 tomato containers at waist height. As you water, you see slug trails on the ground. Shiny silver mucus paths leading toward your containers. The slugs are coming. But the trails stop at the copper wire. You see one slug touching the copper, pulling back, trying again, pulling back, finally giving up and crawling away. You check your tomato plants. Perfect. Not one hole in any leaf. Lush, healthy, growing vigorously. Your neighbor told you this morning slugs destroyed 6 of her tomato plants. She'd spread slug pellets 3 days ago. $22 worth. The pellets didn't stop them. Your copper wire just sits there. You installed this wire 3 years ago. $2 at the hardware store. You've spent nothing since. Your plants are protected every single night. Your dog sleeps on the patio where you used to spread pellets. Completely safe. Your neighbor comes over. She sees your perfect plants. I spent another $20 on slug bait today, she says. They're still eating my plants. What are you doing differently? You point at the copper wire. This cost me $2 3 years ago. Copper creates a tiny electrical shock when slugs touch it. They won't cross it. I haven't had slug damage since I installed it. Is it really that simple? She asks. That simple. $2. 20 minutes to install. Forever protection. Her eyes get teary. I'm so tired of poison. I'm so scared my dog will eat those pellets. This is really safe? Completely non-toxic. Your dog could lick it and be fine. That Saturday, you help her. 6 containers, copper wire around each rim, elevated on blocks. That night, she texts you. She went out with a flashlight, watched slugs hit the copper and retreat. She sends 3 words. This actually works. 2 years later, her garden is slug-free. Same copper, no poison. Her dog plays safely in the yard. That's freedom from annual poison purchases. That's protecting the animals we love. That's a permanent solution for $2. If this just saved you from ever buying slug bait again, hit that like button right now. That thumbs up tells YouTube this information matters. I need to hear from you in the comments. How bad is your slug problem? Have you used slug pellets before? Which copper method are you going to try? Drop your answers below. If you're tired of products that poison your yard, if you want to garden without fear of harming your pets, hit subscribe right now. This channel is safe solutions that protect the animals we love. Next week, I'm showing you the rain barrel mosquito prevention trick using $3 goldfish. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, solid copper wire, 14 gauge, $2 at the hardware store, wraparound containers, no gaps, 1 to 2 inches high, clean yearly, lasts forever, protects completely, keeps your pets safe, your plants stay safe, your animals stay safe, your conscience stays clear. Happy gardening the safe, permanent, loving way.